So this is my 1995 Range Rover Classic LWB. I'm replacing the downshift cable, or the kickdown cable. The one that was on there broke right about here inside the transmission. I spent over 5 days troubleshooting this, and stupidly I just overthought the problem. So when I came up here to double check myself, this is the downshift cable right here. When I accelerated, it pulled it out. And then when I let off the gas, it all bunched up. See, now that I loosened the nut right here, but all bunched up, and it wasn't kicking down. So I was stuck in first gear going down the road. Got back, tore down everything underneath the car that I'm going to show you. This will be like the 5th time I did it. First, you just kind of loosen up these bolts up here to get it off. Right here, comes out of the groove up in there. Do it with the camera. Comes out. This goes all the way down to the top of the transmission. I'll have to show you that later. Hopefully, I don't have to take apart the interior of my car to get to the top of the transmission. But I'll bring you through the steps. Alright, so this is the next step. Since I did this multiple times, and actually I had some broken bolts up there, they're rusted on. Always use never sees on everything you do. No matter what anyone tells you, put never sees on it, or frickin' WD-40 or something. You'll love yourself in the future, because everything came off nice and easy. There's 3 bolts on each manifold. Put never sees on those. It's not too bad with the high temperature because it's in the threads. You gotta do each one. You gotta take your O2 sensors off. Those were a pain in the ass, but since I did it before, it's pretty easy. You gotta unplug those. Wherever the other one is, somewhere up there. There it is. Then the next thing you do in order to get your cats won't come. This sway bar right here sits up. It's about there. See the mount? You're not going to be able to drop your exhaust with the sway bar there. So there's only 4 bolts. Take them off. It's a good chance to put some never sees on them. They came off like butter. I only have 1 bolt holding my exhaust on right now, just so I could make this video. Go down to the back, under your coupling back here. I put stainless steel bolts on there because I had to cut the other ones off. It came off like butter, but never sees on it. Everything's loose right now. The only thing that's holding on is this bolt back here and a bolt up there. Another thing is make sure you disconnect your battery. You're working right near your starter, and if that heat shield hits your positive on your starter, you'll get a nice spark. Make sure you disconnect your battery. Done that. Trust me, you don't want to have sparks in your face underneath the car. Once you take care of that, you gotta take apart this crossbar right here in order to get the pan of the transmission off. Don't forget to drain the fluid, okay? Don't forget to do that. There's probably about 8 bolts on that. 1 on either side. There's a couple up high. You see those up there. Up there in the corners. You're going to need an open-end wrench. And for those, I didn't use the air gun. But for the lower ones, I used the impact gun. It's just vroom, vroom, right off. And I'll bring you to the next step. Alright, so this is the next step. That crossbar right there is mounted right here. You see the rusty area. And on this side, you have to take that bar out in order to drop your transmission, obviously, and take your pan off to change your filter. As you can see, there's plenty of room here, plenty of room to work with. The exhaust is off. This muffler right there. You know, if you want to take a look at anything else while you're down here, it's probably a good time. But I strongly recommend cleaning it beforehand. We just had a heavy rainstorm just the day before, so I was driving around, cleaned off the underside of the car pretty well. Take a power washer to it just to blast the crap off, just you don't want to get shit in your eyes. With these crossbars right here, sometimes if your frame is a little torqued, it's really difficult to get these crossbars out, so what you might have to do is get a hydraulic jack, and put some bars in between your frame here, and spread them a little bit, and it should fall down. In my case, I had a little bit of rust built up. I knew I could get it down because I kicked it with my foot and it moved a little. So I just took a hammer and I just beat the crap out of it until it came down. This past time, or just this time, since I already took it off to do my filter, it's pretty easy to get off. You just reached it back and forth and it fell right off. Like I said, I just did my filter in this because I thought my transmission was all gummed up because I knew I needed to change the fluid. So I changed the filter. The fluid in here is like brand new, 100%. I really changed it. Put some nice Lucas transmission treatment in there. It's got Castrol transmission fluid, I believe. That's what I put in there. The next thing that I'm going to do is, since it only has like 50 miles on the fluid, I'm going to drain the fluid, put it in a container, and put it back into the transmission. But after I do that, I'm going to take off all these bolts. I had a new gasket with the filter. Actually, the last time I did this, I broke one of these little clips right here. Not really a big deal because it still had a lip on it, so it's still holding it. But I'm probably going to replace that eventually. So the next... Alright, as you can see, I've taken the pan down. It's right there. The gasket's reusable. Well, anyway, I just stuck it on there when I did the filter. This is the filter right here. You gotta make sure you keep this tube because this tube's reusable. There's also an O-ring in here that the new kit does not come with, so you have to remove it from the old filter and put it onto the new filter. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe off some of this transmission fluid all dripping down right here so it doesn't get in my eyes. And then I have to start undoing all these bolts, all these star heads, and there's a gasket right here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little gasket in there. Take that gasket down, and then it should give me access to the kickdown cable, which is in this area over here. I also have to take the filter off, of course. That should be the next step. I haven't gone this far before. I've only changed the filter, so it'll be interesting what I discover on the other side of this plate. I do have the manual, and I've been doing bouncing back and forth to the manual, just double checking to make sure I'm not going to take anything apart I'm not supposed to, or release any spring mechanisms. I don't think I am, but I'll find out in a couple minutes. Alright, so this is the bottom of your transmission. This is the top side of what you're going to see when you're actually looking at your transmission from underneath. It's heavy, so be ready. This is the bottom. This is what you see. This is towards the front of the car. This is where the pickup, this is where the fluid goes when it goes through the filter. It gets picked up here. There's 18 bolts. In the manual, they're slightly darker than the rest of the bolts, like the other 400 bolts on this thing. You can see there's one missing right there. Those are all the bolts. Just make sure you keep them, the right lengths for which one. The one that's actually a T right there in the middle, that's the last bolt I took out. It's pretty heavy. You probably want two people to do this. I've been doing a lot of push-ups and stuff like that, so I got to hold it up there fairly easily. There's a lot of fluid that comes out of this thing. You're going to want to have a pan ready. I didn't, so I got fluid all over my head and my chest area, all over the ground. I quickly held it back up there, and I grabbed a pan and held it underneath. There's a lot of fluid. There's still fluid coming out of it. It's probably a good time to look it over, make sure there's no deposits on it. I can see there's a little bit of deposit debris in there. Probably clean that out with a rag or something. Just look it over, make sure it's all clean and tidy. Make sure there's no metal shavings or anything like that, in case you got further problems or exploration that you have to do. And this is my filter in there. It's new, but it's got deposits on it. I'm just gonna wipe that off and get it clean again. This is the inside of the pan. This is the gasket, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so this is your transmission. You can see the plates up in there. All the discs right there. If you work on dirt bikes or anything like that, this is just like them, just a little bit bigger. These are all the veins and everything like that that the fluid travels through on that plate that smacks right up here. A lot of fluid comes out of this. Just want to remind you guys of that. I'm serious, I'm not joking. Still fluid coming out of it. It's pretty clean in here right now. Actually, I like it a lot. Still some deposits, just some surface crap that's on there from the plates. That's usual. some springs right here, and then this is your kickdown cable right here. You can see it right there, the pin. There's the cable that comes down to the top of the transmission right there. Goes through. It's got a little plastic sleeve in there. You can see up in there, but so you push it forward, and there we go. Comes right out. You just gotta remember that's gonna be spring loaded, so you're gonna have to twist it back, almost one full rotation. Put it back in there because it's gonna see how it spins out. It's gotta have a little bit. See, you just gotta make sure you got a little bit of pressure on it, or it won't work right. There it is. I don't want to pull it too hard, but it's busted. Take my word for it. I accelerate hard, get on the highway and stuff like that, and I guess just couldn't take it. Probably chafed to one spot. Probably got a little bit of rust in it, maybe some water. But on to the next step.
To move around, and this box is getting smaller. I'm trying to get out. How did I get so far from where I was? When did I decide to lose my way? Who have I become? I got a new low, all 52 cards in a row. I see now that I won't let go. No, I won't let go. Well, who am I? A cold shoulder left to cry. You feel bad, well, so do I. Yeah, so do I. I've been right, I've been left, I've been wrong, I've been left behind.